Prowess up against Jeskai Oculus.
Right, so if Omniscience was our second most popular deck, Jeskai Oculus is right up there in either third or fourth place. And another matchup where the Oculus players, they're bringing this deck because they feel like they have a lot of game against Is It Prowess. Bigger creatures, life gain in the form of, Sheltered by Ghosts, sometimes Lightning Helix. Just a lot going on, and we're going to see if Owen Hayes can sort of keep it going and advance to 8-0 against Jarvis, one of the stronger players in the field, playing that Boogeyman Is It Prowess.
Monastery Swift Spear taken care of rather swiftly, courtesy of Torch the Tower. Now we see Tersa, a Light Shatter hit the board, and we're going to get frisky here, potentially.
Ooh, it looks like Owen mulliganed really low in this game.
Okay.
Or maybe just to 6.
So
No, he mulled to 5.
Yeah.
If I'm counting right.
Yeah, so did mull to 5. But looks like he found a pretty decent hand. Hopefully has a way to revive the eyeball. That's a cute otter that Jarvis has.
It's difficult to make the existing otter token even cuter, but Jarvis he's brought something pretty special here. I'm not sure what that is.
You put some googly eyes on things, it makes everything cuter. I think that might be his team's emblem, but I might be wrong. I'm sure chat can tell us. So Tersa Light Shatter up against an otter. 2 mana open for Jarvis U. And again, both players undefeated, so at the end of this round, I believe we'll have only 3 players left undefeated if there were 6 in the last round.
That checks out.
Math. Not even once. Otter jumps in the way, and an instant speed spell will make it a little bigger. Can we find another one? Sure can. So Tersa gets taken care of unless Owen has something to say about it. Nope. Bye-bye. Helping hand, though. Can get the eyeball out the bin. Untap. Upkeep. Manifested red. What went into the bin? Oh, what you got? Creature? What is that? Fear of missing out. So spell pierce in the bin. And the Oculus has essentially replaced itself with another threat for later on in the game when it's necessary. Means the Floodmaw will bounce the Oculus, making it uncastable for the time being, unless Owen's able to get it back in the bin and resurrect it. Ta-da! It was the fear of missing out all along.
Instant sorcery creature, not quite delirious.
How many types do we have? Critter, sorcery, instant. So one more thing.
It seems to me that this position would favor Owen. Jarvis neutralized the abhorrent Oculus by bouncing it to the opponent's hand, but that does not mean gone forever. It means that Owen can find another way to discard it and reanimate it. It means that he could just get 2 more cards in the graveyard and cast it. Meanwhile, he's got the 2/3 on the battlefield already, and Jarvis playing the rebuild game.
Yeah, hasn't managed to get much to stick here now, but does get the Quarry Steelcutter alongside the Monastery Swift Spear, so 3 permanents hit the board here for Jarvis. Trigger. In for some damage. Down to 15 goes Owen. Jarvis sitting at 12. Not too worried about life totals yet for either player. Oh, Steam Core Scholar. Nice.
That's a really nice one.
Oof.
It's a clear way to set up the Oculus, either by discarding it or by discarding other cards. Just a way to get some traction in an otherwise awkward draw.
Okay. Discarding Glacial Dragon Hunt. Sheltered by Ghosts. Boy. Nice.
Did not set up Delirium, though, because that could have been fairly brutal to get a Delirious attack with the FOMO, but even as is, buffering the life total, taking away the Monk token, that's big.
Sheltered by Ghosts. I remember when it was revealed, I was like, this card is very good.
Yeah, right?
Was it uncommon? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And proved to be. I mean, it's probably one of the best performing cards in the limited formats in Duskmourn. Yep, Jarvis is taking a look, making sure there's no Delirium yet. Floodmaw. Oh, you have to pay the ward for that. Yep. Floodmaw bouncing, the fear of missing out, and then the Steamcore Scholar getting burst out of the sky. I imagine flying around clouds is not the best idea when there's a lightning storm around.
So now we know that Owen has the ability to hard cast Abhorrent Oculus, if that's what he chooses to do.
Marauding Mako, and the hard cast, like you mentioned.
And then my favorite play, which is to cast Fear of Missing Out. Not to set up your graveyard, but if it's just the last card in your hand, you discard nothing, you draw a card. That always feels
that's pretty sweet.
Really good.
Will he?
And, oh, interesting. Okay. And Owen's done a really nice job of now gumming up the ground, so if Jarvis can't assemble something like a Slick Shot Show Off, then he's going to have a lot to fight through.
Doesn't find a creature off of the Oculus, but like you mentioned, gumming up the board here quite well. Fear of missing out, Abhorrent Oculus in the air. Needs to be answered quickly, otherwise Jarvis is in for a world of hurt.
So Jarvis, I love this from him. He pumps the brakes. I think in his mind, he said, okay, this turn is for leveling up my talent, getting back into the Floodmaw, and removing the Abhorrent Oculus. The reason he paused is he decided he was not going to launch an attack into the opposing blockers, and therefore he would rather have the ability to trigger prowess on Owen's turn so that his creatures would be more formidable as blockers.
Nice.
The downside, however, is enabling this harmonized play, so 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Glacial Dragon Hunt, able to take care of one of these creatures on the other side. Abhorrent Oculus getting in for some damage in the air. And Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, another sweet card if you're looking to discard some stuff. So Monastery Swiftspear, there we go. My brain just short-circuited there. That gets taken care of by the Glacial Dragon Hunt, courtesy of the discard. Marauding Mako gets a counter. And now just keeping track of all the various triggers going on the stack here at the attack step.
Jarvis is fighting, but I don't think he's going to be able to overcome the value that Owen has generated, nor do I think he's going to be able to steal the game with the big flurry of damage. So I think he's just in the mode of stay alive a couple more turns, but I don't think there's terribly much hope for Jarvis in this game one here.
You know, Owen doing a good job of applying pressure and able to get removal in the mix here as well. Jarvis is down to 6.
Generally, when we've seen Abhorrent Oculus trigger to manifest a creature, we have seen the Oculus player win that game.
Yeah.
That is a pretty common trend. Not as extreme as our Omniscience rule, but you definitely don't want Abhorrent Oculus sticking on the battlefield for a turn cycle, as it tends to bode
It's a ticking time bomb.
not
as we
well.
See. Drake Hatcher now getting to wield the Quarry Steel Cutter for a turn. So good blocker for Inti, perhaps.
So what's happening right now is the Drake Hatcher is attacking as a 2/4 Vigilance. Owen blocks with just the fear of missing out, which is exactly what I would do. And actually, a nice turn for Jarvis. Maybe I counted him out a little early.
It's helpful that there's Vigilance on the Drake Hatcher.
So Jarvis, is it true that he could have created a monk token there? Because he cast the Drake Hatcher. He cast the Flood Maw as the second spell. He could have made a monk, though he wouldn't have wanted to re-equip. That would have meant not killing the FOMO. But that's a legal play, right? You make the monk, you don't equip.
Yes. So there should be a monk there?
I mean, it depends on exactly what you mean by should be. It is in a tournament setting, you can forget, but Jarvis did cast 2 spells with a Quarry Steel Cutter on the battlefield.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just checking if it's a you may. Why you wouldn't want to, I don't know, but yeah, just a mistrigger there for Jarvis. This 2/2, I believe it's just a land under there, so that's not going to be a nasty surprise at any point, but Prophet's Eidetic Memory now is going to make it pretty big. So what's that, a 5/5? No, wait, hang on. Is that representing its current power, or... Yeah, no, that's a 5/5. Woo boy. Okay. Oculus, once again. You don't see it cost that often, huh? It's usually not how you get this guy on the battlefield.
It takes a long game like that one in order for Oculus to get cast. But that was a good battle. Both players, you know, back and forth making a game of it, but Owen eventually getting over the finish line, and you know, props on a mulligan to 5 too.
Yeah,
that was a dicey start.
Turns out card draw was pretty good, huh?
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, sideboards. Let's take a look here at what the players have to work with. Jarvis seems pretty certain of what he's taken out right off the bat.
Yeah, Jarvis has played this matchup before. I think both players are probably familiar with their plans at this point.
So sideboard for Jarvis.
So yeah, Jarvis, Ghost Vacuum is pretty straightforward. Kidnap, I'm not familiar with. That's some kind of mind control
you
effect.
Get to take a thing and then it stays tapped. When it enters, tap a creature. If it wasn't promised, put 3 stun counters on it, and then you control the creature.
Hey, I wouldn't mind taking an abhorrent Oculus if my opponent's going to set me up for that. So I wonder if Jarvis will grab that one. Lithomantic Barrage, Scorching Shot. These are ways to kill a 5/5 flying abhorrent Oculus. I'm not sure what the players will think about Spell Pierce on either side of the table. That's a card that players do not have universal agreement on in this sort of matchup, but they might have it, they might not. Meanwhile, we talked about how challenging sideboarding is for this Oculus deck. So many different tensions pulling you every which way, but I think Owen has probably developed a pretty clean plan for this matchup. Magebane Lizard is an interesting one to really punish
I like this guy.
The Izzet player for casting a bunch of spells in the same turn.
It's so cheeky. I don't think I've ever seen it actually do its thing in a setting, but tournament setting. But it's a really sweet little guy that punishes your opponents for casting non-creature spells. You know, it's kind of like Storm. It's Storm-ish, where every time you cast a spell, it's just going to keep adding the number of damage that it does to you, your opponent.
Yeah, and it adds up fast. I mean, especially given that the Oculus deck is a creature deck that can give as good as it gets and pressure Jarvis's life total already. Suddenly, Magebane Lizard's on the battlefield. You have a big turn. You take 6 damage. You're like, okay, well now I can't just mindlessly attack you because I have to sweat my own life total.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to attack me back. I have to play defense. The Izzet deck doesn't like to play defense very much. So there's a lot of interesting tensions, and I'm eager to see what the players bring for their post-board configurations. In the meantime, Ailey, I was chatting with Jarvis last round. He has an interesting backstory for this tournament.
Oh, yeah?
He's from like the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. He showed up to the airport to fly last night. Flight was delayed. Oh, no. Flight was delayed. Flight was delayed. Flight was canceled.
Oh, no.
So then he called up his buddy. They got in the car. They drove overnight. And he said he got here at 3:30 a.m. Before waking up at 7 to get ready to play.
And he's 7-0.
And he's 7-0. So I told him, I was like, buddy, just, you know, get to the finish line today, get a good sleep, come back fresh tomorrow. But I mean,
I think he's running.
I bet he's glad he made the drive at this point, right?
Yeah, I bet he's running on stress and caffeine at this point.
That's right.
Jeez. Well, glad he made it here, and glad he's sitting at 7-0 because he can sort of relax now. You want to obviously go into day 2 with the best record you possibly can, but having wrapped that up already, it's like, okay, cool. If I fumble in the last 2 rounds, it's not the end of the world, but ending the day on 9-0 would be the ideal end here for Jarvis.
Yeah, totally. When you get to this stage in the tournament, your attitude should just be like, look, every match counts. And if I lose and I wind up 8-1 or 7-2, I can keep that in perspective and be like, I had a great day, even though I ended on a loss. But if you can make that even better and scrape out 1 or 2 more wins, that's all the better position you have on Sunday morning.
Absolutely. Because it's still a pretty tough fight to get into the top 8. I'm not sure if it'll be a clean cut exactly, or if we'll see a couple of players with the same record getting left out. I imagine that will be the case. As we see Jarvis here with his otter, getting frisky and getting some damage in.
Yeah, we should touch on that just, you know, for the viewers who might not be familiar with the tournament structure. This is 15 rounds, 9 today on Saturday, so the players are looking for at least 6 wins to make day 2, but your record does carry over. That's what we're talking about. So 9-0, better than 7-2, better than 6-3. We're looking about in the range of that 12th win to be in the conversation for top 8, and the 11th win to be in the conversation for, you know, Pro Tour invite or deep in the prize money. So. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really say is every win counts. You know, 7-0, you're not guaranteed to have a big payday, but you are in prime position for it.
Plus, it just feels good.
For sure.
Not picking up any losses in the day. So, Owen Hayes has to deal with this ghost vacuum that's just dismantling his graveyard. So a Born Oculus gets got by the sideboard card here from Jarvis. He's got 2 otters on the board and a 3/4 Fear of Missing Out to get through. He always has this card.
Into the Flood Maw.
It's just there every time. I mean, there's a 4. It's a 4 of in the deck. And whenever he needs it, it's always there. But no fish. Tisk tisk. Doesn't need it, but yeah. Jeez. Owen's at 5 already? Bloody hell.
Yeah, and I mean, you could see, like, Into the Flood Maw is a strange 4 of. A lot of times when you see these bounce cards, players are using them sparingly as like, okay, I'm going to have 1 or 2 to round out my suite of answers against a variety of possible threats. But the Izzet deck is just so fast and brutal that it's like, that's bouncing a 2-mana creature, but Jarvis is just outputting damage so fast that Owen is barely going to have enough time to even recover and replay his 2-drop creature.
Things aren't looking super hot here for the Oculus deck, but at least on the plus side, he gets the play in game 3. Excuse me, he gets to be on. Yeah, he gets to be on the play on game 3.
There it is. That's why it's a 4 of. That's been one of the evolutions of the Is It deck over time, is moving from a start where, you know, people would have 4 burst lightnings or basically turning to the red burn spells. Then the metagame adapted to that with cards like Preacher of the Schism, which we've talked about, Drake Hatcher as a creature for the mirror match, and then as a reaction to those new creature-based threats, the removal spells adapted too. So now you're seeing fewer burst lightnings, more into the flood maws, more torch the towers, and this is just the dynamic of competitive, like, sort of world-class Magic, is everyone's always trying to be one step ahead of the competition. One step ahead when you can be, but at least not one step behind. That's the disaster.
All right, friends, if you would like to join us for future events, well, you're in luck because there's a lot of them. Take a look here. We've got Orlando in August. We have Baltimore in October, as well as Houston. So 2 weekends in October if you feel like making the trip out there. And then in November, it is going to be in Las Vegas. So starcitygames.com/SCGCon. We got Spotlight Series. We have regional championships. We have so much more at these events than just what you see on screen. So do come check it out. Come check out the Magic Artists. Come check out singles. Come trade some cards in. You know, come and play some Commander. Whatever floats your boat. Pretty sure you could find it over here.
I've got my eye on Spotlight, the Spotlight event in Baltimore. Because a lot of the East Coast Magic crowd that's here in Hartford, I think, will also be looking at that one in October. So just basically keeping my eyes and ears open for more information about that event as it rolls out.
Because that's that Spotlight Series, the theme at least, is to be announced. So I bet it'll be cool, though, because so far, so good.
Most of them have been cool.
Yeah. Turns out we have a pretty cool hobby. And a pretty sweet game. Storm Chaser's talent hits the board here, first and foremost for Jarvis, who land go, I should say, Steam Core Scholar on the stack, draw some cards, and manages to find an Oculus, chucks it in the bin. Torch the Tower gets rid of the flying threat, and Ghost Vacuum hits the board and starts eating the graveyard once again. Oh boy.
Jarvis has got to be so happy to have that Ghost Vacuum here, because Owen has, you know, set up a situation that in game 1 was devastating, right? Getting that Oculus where it can be reanimated, then if it's bounced, the game starts going long enough where you can set it up again.
Yeah.
But Ghost Vacuum taking a lot of the possible routes of attack away from Owen. You see he's forced to discard his helping hand, so going from, oh my god, I've got the best thing my deck can do, to now, okay, I'll just cycle these cards and try to find something better.
Essentially an onboard counter spell. It's just like, oh, right, I'm not going to bother about that then, so let's just go Tersa Light Shatter and discard some stuff to make this Mako a little bigger.
On the other hand, Owen is not slowing down in terms of just adding more non-graveyard threats to the battlefield, pressuring Jarvis's life total.
I don't know why, but I just find the art so funny too. It's like frog surprise. Away it goes, the little Mako with the 2 counters on it, so Tersa remains. Where does Jarvis turn to now? We're stocking up.
He has stocked up. He has already made his land drop. Might have to take a little more medicine from the Tersa Light Shatter, but at least he's not getting comboed by the Oculus.
3 more damage. Down to 13 goes Jarvis. What's your follow-up here, Owen? What you got?
The Magebane Lizard!
Yeah! And a Mako. All right, so now we get to play the fun game of how many non-creature spells are you going to cost, Jarvis? I also want to see Ghost Vacuum do its thing, because it's not just, oh, I'm going to eat your graveyard. It's yes, I can cast all these things.
That comes up, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't come up often, but it'd be great to see. It's on my bingo card for the weekend. As well as this Magebane Lizard doing some stuff, so. Right.
Okay, Scorching Shot. That's a good one. Takes care of the lizard.
Boo.
It's still got its little cheeky hit.
Yeah, it got some retribution there. Good answer for it, that's for sure. And also a good distraction from Tursa and the Marauding Mako. Now, I've changed my mind. There's one good thing about Planeswalkers, and that is that it's distraction tactics. It's like, oh, I'm at 5. Here's a Planeswalker. Look, go hit that.
I really like the configuration where you have like a Planeswalker and one blocker. And so if they want to kill the Planeswalker, they have to really overcommit. And then you just say, okay, I'm not going to block. And Planeswalker takes all the heat for me.
Love it. You get a free turn. Tursa, dead, but not. As a replacement joins the fray once again, Marauding Mako gets a little bigger and can swing in here for 3, unless we have something else before combat.
6 cards in graveyard. That's 1 away from Tursa's extra text box coming into play.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Ooh. What?
Sheltered by Ghost is going to exile the Ghost Vacuum, but more importantly, just be another big life total swing. And Jarvis can ill afford to pay for that ward in a game where he's scrambling to come back from behind.
Goodness me. Owen Hayes has 0 chill right now. Sheltered by Ghosts, taking away any potential for that Ghost Vacuum to pop off. Jarvis Yu has 2 things that he needs to deal with, one of them having wards, so a blocker and a removal spell needed to stay alive. Oof, I say.
You said it.
Put that on my gravestone, my quote for my life. Oof, I say.
Last words.
Yeah, oof.
As the piano falls on your head.
Oh man, why a piano? A rhino or something interesting. Corey Steelcutter hits the board now. Do we have another spell? Stock up. Yes, we do.
Okay,
we need
so
removal.
Jarvis looking for maybe Torch the Tower into the Flood Maw. Ideally, Torch the Tower.
It? Yeah. Come on, fight back. Something. You have something, right? Another hasty threat here would pretty much seal things up here for Owen. 2 mana, a Braid, and that is gonna do it. So, Owen Hayes, Jeskai Oculus, 8-0.